For all the jokes about how nothing happens in slice of life anime, not only do things happen, they can happen with tons of drama. Even if a scene does not appear dramatic, a good slice of life anime delivers it full of suspense. The essence of interest in a story is tension. From the book On Filmmaking, this is the effect of anticipation mixed with uncertainty. When we are presented conflict without resolution, we get tension, and we want to keep watching to find out what happens. Slice of life anime doesn't just show you random events, it structures them so that there's always a question you want the answer to. The pattern of question and answer is narrative structure. This structure can be varied. Excitement is not always increasing until the climax and decreasing afterwards. A much more effective pattern includes smaller releases of tension to build anticipation for the big reveal. In Western sitcoms and animation, a structuring technique involves A plot and B plot. Two separate storylines woven together so they can build and climax at the same time. Let's apply this to The Simpsons, Season 7, Episode 5, where Lisa becomes a vegetarian. It presents a familiar, natural, but still a very creative story. We start with a lead-in at a theme park, which is focused on comedy and doesn't contain plot elements. Upon arriving home, the B-plot begins with Homer noticing Flanders' barbecue and wanting to have one of his own. There's no conflict, but there's tension. We want to know how the barbecue will turn out, and we expect the show will have some payoff for the story hook. The A-plot begins with Lisa realizing her objections to eating meat. Tension really starts to build. We see her struggle at the dinner table, in the classroom, and in the cafeteria because of rejection by society. This is tension of a familiar sort, tension powered by conflict. We are kept in suspense because we want to know who wins, whether Lisa will prevail and maintain her principles, or if she finds the backlash too much to bear. After this, plot becomes de-emphasized in favor of delivering comedy. We have a show within a show, Homer's invitations to the barbecue, and a documentary shown to Lisa's class. However, these scenes still touch on the central conflict and prolong suspense. Also, the invitation scene makes us realize that the B-plot in this episode is closely tied to the A-plot. Homer's barbecue will certainly conflict with Lisa's budding vegetarianism, giving the B-plot dramatic stakes. In the second half, the B-plot continues with the beginning of the barbecue, but it really folds into the A-plot because Lisa steals the roast pig and Homer and Bart chase after it. Besides the immediate comedic tension of not knowing what's going to happen to the pig, there's also a dramatic element as we wonder about the consequences for Lisa. After losing the pig, Homer has an angry dispute with Lisa, and Lisa storms out. The B-plot is now over, since we have an answer to the question of how the barbecue will turn out. However, we still don't know the result of the A-plot. It reaches its climax as Lisa faces more ridicule and eventually caves by taking a bite of a hot dog. It turns out to be a tofu dog, and the phase of resolution begins. Lisa meets other vegetarians, including the episode's guest stars, Paul and Linda McCartney. She is reassured that she is not alone and is taught a lesson about being patient with others. Satisfied, she finds her father looking for her, and the two apologize to one another. There's a good sense of completeness because the open questions have been answered. Lisa's reconciled with her father, and since we've seen her become more confident and also more understanding, we know she can survive in a meat-centered society. It's a great episode. Drama is utilized beautifully with two storylines that play off each other to deliver compelling questions and satisfying answers. Let's turn towards anime. Most anime utilizes an A-part, B-part structure. There's a complete story with a question and its answer, once in the first half before the commercial break, and another in the second. Tension usually does not carry over. Consider K-On! Episode 5. It starts with a bit of foreshadowing as Ritsu and Yui look in a yearbook. There's a short lead-in with Yui cutting her finger, and then the A-part begins with a discovery that the Light Music Club is not an official club. The mystery of how this came to be is quickly resolved, but there's still the issue of getting a sponsor. We obviously know that the club won't disband, but there is still anticipation and uncertainty because we want to know exactly how they will resolve this problem. The club starts to realize Sawako's secret past, climaxing in her desperate but futile attempt to hide the truth. The significance of the photograph from the beginning of the episode is revealed, and after a flashback, Ritsu's blackmail solves the problem of getting a sponsor. The A-part extends past the commercial break, but the questions from before are all neatly concluded. The B-part is less conflict-driven, making it an interesting study in drama more typical of slice-of-life anime. Sawako says that the group needs to write a song. Mio produces some lyrics that are a little embarrassing but that are accepted by the group. Then it is decided that Yui should be the vocalist and she tries to learn to sing and play guitar at the same time. She is successful, but has temporarily worn out her voice and the episode ends. We are carried along through anticipation of how these little hurdles are crossed. What lyrics Mio will come up with, if Sawako will teach Yui successfully. Usually the resolution to these stories comes not in the form of an action scene like in the A-part, but rather as a punchline. One more thing I noticed only after drawing these charts. These two episodes arrange their plots differently, as you can see by the arrangement of the color. However, there's a similarity in the shape with two peaks, one before the midpoint and one after. In this Simpsons episode, the big release is in the second half, and in K-On! It's in the first. This seems to be another trick to making an episode engaging, having multiple good payoffs throughout the duration. You should try this analysis on your own. Many anime are split up into an A part and a B part. Let's now look at an anime that deviates from these structures. Shirobako is a show about an animation studio over the course of a season and interleaves several storylines. The form follows the content. The chaotic world of anime production with many things going on at once is reflected in the suspension of several storylines in an episode and the emergence of conflicts without immediate resolutions. Episode 5 begins in the midst of the A-plot. The boorish Taro has upset Endo, who quits as an animation director for a particular episode over the use of 3D versus hand-drawn animation. The B-plot is introduced next. The director has been procrastinating on his storyboards. He gets locked in a cage to force him to focus. Left to wonder if he will be able to free himself, a series of flashbacks now shows us the origins of the A-plot and builds tension in doing so. An eye-catch segment brings us to the midpoint, and now that the conflict is fully explained, the episode slows the pace. Nothing has been resolved, but there aren't any upcoming deadlines that add pressure to the conflict. Endo returns home to his wife. This quiet scene elaborates his character and mental state. Then the B-plot shows us information about the director's disastrous previous project. Next, Endo has dinner with an animator he admires who encourages him to understand 3D. This is where he shows his first signs of letting go his resistance. We get the A-plot discussed from the perspective of the main characters, a quick scene of the B-plot where we learn about the director's fear of failure. Then, Endo asks to be shown some 3D animation for a close analysis, and the episode appears to be headed for a calm conclusion. However, it is then suddenly revealed that a drawing for the next episode was completed, necessitating Endo's return. The details are a bit confusing to explain, but it leaves a cliffhanger for the audience by re-establishing the urgency of the unresolved conflict. That's a really cool thing about Shirobako that's unusual in slice-of-life anime. The tension isn't resolved in this episode. Neither the A or B plot has a conclusion, and the A plot even receives new escalation right in the final scene. The A plot about 3D animation eventually gets resolved in the next episode. The B plot, the director's unfinished work, fades until episode 7, and becomes a major plot point in episode 9. Form follows content. Cutting between multiple different storylines reflects what's going on in the show, several episodes of anime being made simultaneously in different stages of production. It also enables playing with tension, carrying it over episodes or prolonging it through exploring different perspectives. This is a very cursory view of narrative structure. The goal is not so much to be comprehensive, but to give you the tools to analyze how a story is built. These ways of thinking can reveal why certain slice-of-life anime stand out, even when they seem to be dressed in the same situations from everyday life. The answer here is tension. Skilled writers know how to establish anticipation and uncertainty to pull you into a plot, and conclude it with a satisfying message or a well-placed joke. There are, of course, infinite ways to tell a story, but drama is essential. Whatever the narrative is about, if you want to know why a story works, start by examining its use of tension. Thank you.